If you just got hired at a restaurant, school, hospital, or food truck and your manager says you need a food handler's card, your first thought might be, can I start working without one? Or maybe you're applying for jobs and you're wondering if you need to get it first before you even apply. And if you don't have one yet, is that actually a big deal or not? I'm Gavin, a registered dietitian and the program administrator for FoodSafePal, a nationally recognized food handler card issuer. Part of my role involves staying up to date on state and local food handler card requirements. And in this video, I'm going to break down whether you can work without a food handler's card, when you're allowed a grace period, what can happen if you ignore the requirement, and how to earn an approved one quickly. Let's start with the basics. What is a food handler's card? A food handler's card proves that you've completed a food handler training course and passed a test on essential food safety principles, including personal hygiene, cross-contamination, time and temperature controls, and cleaning and sanitizing. In many states and counties, food handler training is required to work in places like restaurants, schools, healthcare facilities, catering operations, and other food establishments. Even in places where state law does not require it, employers can and often do require it as part of their own policy. So, can you work without a food handler's card? Sometimes. Many employers prefer that you already have one when you apply. In fact, having a valid card can give you an advantage over other applicants. But several states allow a grace period. For example, states like California, Illinois, New Mexico, and Texas allow you to work up to 30 days without a food handler's card. Utah allows up to 14 days. That means you can start working, but you must complete that training within that time frame. And realistically, this is not a major hurdle. The course and exam can usually be completed in just a few hours or 90 minutes with FoodSafePal. In other states or counties, however, you must have a valid food handler card before you are allowed to handle food. So it really depends on where you live and work. So what happens if you don't have one when you're supposed to? Employers typically verify your card using your certificate or ID number, but occasionally someone slips through. If your state or county requires a food handler's card and you continue working without one past any allowed grace period, you are violating that requirement. That could mean a write-up, being sent home until you complete the training, or termination, especially if you claimed you had one. And it doesn't just affect you. If a health inspector visits and finds that employees are working without required training, the establishment can be fined. They may receive a lower health score, which the public can see. In some cases, fines can be issued for each day you work without a valid card. And if a foodborne illness outbreak were traced back to improper food handling, the situation becomes much more serious. So unless you are within a legally allowed grace period, you should not work without a required food handler's card. This message isn't intended to evoke fear, but rather to look out for you by explaining what actually happens, so you don't risk a job over something avoidable. So how can you earn one quickly? The fastest and easiest way is online. But not all websites offering food handler training are accepted everywhere. This is important. In many states, health departments only accept ANSI, National Accreditation Board, ANAB accredited food handler courses, like FoodSafePal's, which meet national standards, but some states are more specific. For example, Washington, Alaska, and some cities like Las Vegas only accept food handler cards issued directly by their health departments. FoodSafePal makes those limitations clear before enrollment, and in some cases prevents enrollment entirely to avoid confusion. For everywhere else, earning an ANAB accredited card is a reliable way to meet employer and health department requirements. Once you pass FoodSafePal's food handler test, your digital food handler's card and certificate are issued immediately, so you can provide proof to your employer right away. And remember, your food handler's card belongs to you, not your employer. You can use it at multiple jobs, and it typically is valid for up to 3 years before renewal is required. So here's the bottom line. Some places require a food handler's card before you start work. Others give you a grace period of up to 30 days. But if your location requires one and you are outside of that grace period, working without it can put both you and your employer at risk. The good news is that earning one is fast and straightforward. If you need a valid food handler's card, head to foodsafepal.com to get started today.